Rope Talk with Matt Dumont.
Top Rope Talk.
Top Rope
episode
Talk.
8. Ladies and gentlemen.
Could be the best episode ever. Why? Because
Wrestlemania.
we're a little fired up.
We are real fired up.
From
the
the greatest weekend in sports entertainment, but we like to say greatest weekend of professional wrestling. Why?
Yep.
Why? It's we're wrestling fans.
That's why.
And this week, I'm going to tell you, I'm a little disappointed because we have been trying to bring real American beer to the forefront, which it's still here. Hulkster, we're still waiting for you.
Love you.
But since for some reason,
State of
Connecticut does not want to carry real American beer, and I unfortunately was busy yesterday running around, and it's getting warmer out, so I can't let beer sit in my car.
No.
Can't bring it into the prison.
No.
That's bad.
Yeah.
We got a little stone cold American lager.
El
Broken
Segundo.
Skull. Oh my goodness. And I'll tell you what, stone cold.
Cheers to the Rattlesnake.
Cheers to the Rattlesnake.
One of the highlights of
We're bringing
WrestleMania weekend.
it this weekend. You know, the Hall of Fame was great with him and Brett.
Loved it. Love the whole Hall of Fame.
That was a little, you know.
I stayed up a little late that night. I had to work the next morning, but
right.
I wasn't going to miss.
Mm-mm.
I'm a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge Triple H fan. I wanted to see his speech.
I tell you what, the humility that he showed and just basically thanked everybody for where he is. That's what we knew Triple H was going to do.
He got it.
He got it. And I mean, you know what? He wasn't pulling a Ric Flair. He was going over an hour and always pulling the hook because he's a COO, so he can do that. That's his damn
I can
job.
do what I want.
Yeah, and he did. But he kept everybody engaged. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing.
Almost everybody. A couple of screenshots in the crowd of a couple of folks.
I think it's crazy where we think about, obviously, us on the East Coast and on the West Coast, and the breakdown of everybody almost falling asleep because it started, at 10 o'clock their time, right?
Yep.
Lasted until midnight, 1 o'clock. They got to get back.
No. 1:30, I think. It was a little after 4 when I went to bed.
Oh, my God.
Triple H had just finished. I literally got an hour and a half nap and went to work.
And then I was going to say Shawn Michaels had to be up for 5 a.m. They said for NXT. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's cool. It was actually kind of cool to see because if you and I, or all of us, all the crew out in Vegas, WrestleMania both nights were done by 8 o'clock.
Out there, yeah.
Out there. I mean, here, East Coast, 11
Good
o'clock.
Good news is GC Dub shows were starting 8 p.m. Eastern, so let's go ahead another show to win.
What a weekend. What a weekend. But we went on location for night one at beautiful Bradley Miller's house.
Beautiful Brad.
We're waiting for you. You said you're a little iffy, but everybody out there, beautiful Bradley Miller will be on as a guest. Maybe right here, maybe sitting here. We don't know. He'll be on. But
much appreciation.
Yes.
Cheers. Gracious host. Night one of WrestleMania.
Absolutely. Phenomenal.
Top Rope Talk crew watching it over there.
Mm-hmm.
Hell of a show. Couple of mishaps, but
before we get started, I want one word. I know my word. I want one word for the show both nights.
Cha-ching.
Okay. Cha-ching. Yes.
Everything got monetized this year. First time ever. Everything. Turnbuckle had a sponsor. Every match had a sponsor. There are seats in the fucking entranceway, and I'm sure those weren't cheap.
No.
I read something this morning. Green shirt guy who's notorious in the internet wrestling community paid somewhere in the 6-digit range on night 2 to walk the ramp with the announce crew. Oh, and by the way, night 1, he also sat with the timekeeper.
Right. Crazy that.
I'm sorry, what? Like, I love it as a fan. Like, good on you if you got that kind of dough and you want to do that. That's awesome. Yeah. And good on the company, bro.
My God.
1 seat the weekend. 100,000.
We'll talk about who Stone Cold almost took out. But so my word for both nights, unfortunately, and we sat together for night 1, the whole thing. I think I speak for a lot of the fans out there. It was very underwhelming. Not a bad thing. It wasn't the worst WrestleMania. It by far wasn't the best WrestleMania. I think we're still on a high from last year because they did nothing wrong in 40. Every match from top to bottom of both shows was phenomenal.
Great cards.
Great cards, great matches. Honestly, the storylines last year were
bigger,
but you had a chance this year. You still had a chance to make it great. And we're going to talk about it. That's what we're talking about this episode. We're going to start on night 1. We're not going to go too far forward until we get there. But night 1, if you're coming from the crowds they had, the Raw and SmackDown crowds overseas, this is what we were talking about. It's like, this is what sucks to look at.
Crowd's underwhelming.
and that's why I said underwhelming, because we're in Vegas. It's WrestleMania. We've been to WrestleManias. The crowds are usually into it. And for watching
start to finish,
they're into it.
29, those folks were there for the pre-show. Like we walked in, we thought early, and there was 35,000 people in the building already.
They're packed. So it was just for what Raw did and SmackDown did overseas, that European crowd every night. We always say about a crowd taking over a show. They took it over every night. But it was fun. They had a great time.
Awesome.
And
awesome
over the last 2 years, between even Puerto Rico, there was one.
That might have been the most amazing one I've ever seen.
And Puerto Rico,
those people were.
And how do we not go to Puerto Rico more often? They were so into it. Obviously, we knew Bad Bunny was going to be there. He's done phenomenal.
That helped.
Lesnar and Rose in the main event. I mean, that was a phenomenal show from top to bottom. So underwhelming. However, it is WrestleMania. We're going to talk the goods and bads of every match. We're going to go down. So we're going to start on night one.
Opening match, Raw Heavyweight Championship. So
I want Matt's honest opinion, because I was sitting next to him. We were both thinking, the match wasn't bad.
Good match. I won't say great. I'll say it was good. We were involved the whole way.
Yes.
Then the finish happened.
Yeah.
And there was a collective, what the fuck
just happened? So you want to, and this is going to go all the way into night two about making someone look weak. You made Gunther look like a monster the whole time he's been in WWE. And he has been.
And then he gets caught in his submission for 2.3 seconds and immediately taps, rolls out of the ring, and walks away.
And we just literally sat there, looked at each other like, we didn't call that one. Because obviously...
I didn't see him winning. Much less beating him with, pronouns, pal.
What?
Beating Gunther with his own submission move.
That's what I'm saying. And literally, if you want to make Gunther look strong still, you put the sleeper, the choke, whatever you want to say, let him pass out. So he doesn't actually tap out.
Take it the whole way.
Take it the whole way. Literally, he puts it on him.
I buy that a little more.
Yes. We're fine with that.
It makes better story. Because it makes a better finish.
The 3 splashes, good. It looked like he was bleeding from his mouth. All right, you got something there.
Wounded.
But then he just...
Right away?
What? And then literally he rolls out and walks out, because you're like, is that supposed to happen?
I mean, unless we find out he got hurt, I don't know.
You don't think he was hurt last night?
No, that's exactly my point. And now you make him look weaker, because now he's attacking, not to dive away from WrestleMania, because we're going to get into the whole weekend, obviously, but now you have him attacking McAfee?
Right. Joe came out.
What are you doing?
The star.
What?
The star of the announce team makes everybody laugh. I look at, but Jay definitely celebrated, right? You see that post-show?
I did.
Mumbling. Loved it. I can't even, I sat there, I'm like, is he drunk? And then listen, we love it that you were. I'm like, man, he went
Not mad at you.
He went in quick.
You just won the world title. You got back in the locker room.
And he was mumbling real quick.
You were with your brother and your family, had a couple.
Have a couple of yeets.
Here's to you.
It kind of almost didn't make sense what he was saying, but it was funny.
It was tremendous.
Tremendous, yeah.
So that's kind of our take on that match. Bad finish. Confusing finish. How do you just do that? And then, like I said, fast forward to the next night, and now you've got him choking out announcers.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
He's been your monster the past 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah. Between the Intercontinental title and now the World title, yeah.
How about from NXT up? Dude got here and has just worn a belt 80-something% of the time. And then you have him lose it, and the next night he's choking out Gorilla Monsoon. Nope, not even Gorilla. It'd be like choking Bobby.
Bobby the Brain. Yeah, 100%.
Not okay. We digress.
Yes.
Match two. Tag team championship match.
By the way, I love when they redid the tag team titles. So the World Tag Team title, the WWE titles.
The new belts?
The new belts.
Much nicer.
Big and nice. So listen, the New Day and the War Raiders, who have changed their name up, it's not their fault, but a bunch of times, they are tanks. And it was by far one of the more fun matches to watch, because McAfee's hilarious. Pekka. What was it? What was he? Pekka. And then Cole calling him out. Stop saying Pekka. What's his real name?
Eric.
Pekka. So, listen, Smash Mouth, the New Day is over.
They're going to be over regardless.
They are.
They're good. They're entertaining. They're great in the ring.
They are, and they're
the new heel version.
Yeah, and they're old school. They remind me again the old school, what we grew up on, Demolition.
Old school chicken shit heels.
Exactly, and
snuck out a win. Immediately grabbed the belts and ran halfway up the ramp
because they know. Like the crazy thing is like both the War Raiders, they are athletic. They don't look it. That's one of the things that it blows your mind. Is like you watch them, they're impressive.
They are real impressive.
And they really are good. But I actually enjoyed that match more than the first match, which is fine. But
one of the better matches.
It was one of the better
weekend.
matches. Yeah.
Really was.
And it's the triple threats and the tag teams actually did very well.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I'm giving that match a B+.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd
go right around there.
I'm gonna go Daniel Bryan, WrestleMania 30, B+ player. And then, I mean, it segues right into match number
3. Ladies match.
There's a lot of ladies matches.
This was one of 4 over the weekend, which is a ton.
There was. You know my favorite already. We've already had a sidebar conversation, which we'll get into. But
it's a little later.
What do you think overall of, first off...
Mission accomplished. Yeah. This was Jade's coming out party.
Yeah.
First real WrestleMania moment, singles match, grudge match, like the whole backstory. Naomi's the one that took her out.
Yeah, she's got the thing is with Jade, and even in AEW, she's got the look. We didn't know if she could wrestle. And I think they protect.
She's getting there.
She's getting there. Naomi obviously carried the match.
Yeah.
Jade's a powerhouse. And we look back at the old school
athlete,
like an Ultimate Warrior. You look at like a Warlord, Barbarian. These guys were studs.
You've got everything but the ability to wrestle. That takes time.
But Naomi and her had a phenomenal match. It's nice to see her go over, Jade go over. So Naomi,
like I said, mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Multiple times.
Having Naomi win that match does nothing for either of them.
No. And Naomi going heel is phenomenal.
Yep.
I mean, it starts picking up some steam here. And again, the crowd this WrestleMania, I was just almost flabbergasted. That's a word to use. Yeah.
Like
we're in Las
sleeping.
Vegas. They're thinking it's early. I've had too much to drink. I needed that energy drink to kick in or whatever they were doing out there for extracurricular. And we start getting it going. Match.
Oh, here we go.
What?
This is the one I wanted all weekend. Yarmin! Jacob Fatu, LA Knight. U.S. title match. Went a lot longer than I thought it would.
Yeah, you remember? We thought it was going to be...
squash.
And we love LA Knight.
I just
He's
smell
phenomenal.
LA Light.
But
LA Light.
LA Light, LA Knight, LA Lights.
Yeah.
Yeah. But LA Knight is a star. And he's been a star even in TNA. Eli Drake, he's doing a phenomenal job. But Fatu is the werewolf. He is going to go through the...
There is one way for him to go, and it's up.
He reminds you, and like I said...
You were in the middle of the road. Sorry about your luck.
He is a more...
To quote an old TNA guy,
oh, yeah.
Sorry about your damn luck.
He is a more athletic Umaga. 100%. He's got that monster heel push. It's going to happen.
Middle of the card match on night 1 this year. Within the next 2.
Main event, you said.
He's headlining night 2.
Yep.
He's closing the weekend.
We're going to see who he's going to go against because we got some more scenarios to go down the line.
I don't see any other path for him. The dude's too good. He's too big. He's too athletic. He's good on the mic. Yep. It's getting over.
It is. He's a monster. And he's a monster, but also an athlete. Those damn Samoans. Something in the blood.
Something in that bloodline.
Oh, my God. Yeah, absolutely. Whoop. What?
Coming out with Solo, too.
And Solo. I feel, I'll say that.
I knew what you were going to say, and I'm 100% in agreement with you.
Solo took some big L's this past year, and he literally...
None of his own volition, We bring in your cuz, and he's a bigger, better, more athletic version of you.
He's pinned Cody. He's pinned Roman. I mean, he took over for Roman when he took his vacation. He was a phenomenal heel.
He took a mask on night 1 of WrestleMania. That's what he did this year.
Jeez, this is like...
ouch.
It's an ouch.
Yeah.
You know, we'll talk into more depth about sometimes I don't think Triple H may be running everything, but this WrestleMania, obviously listening to some interviews today, which we'll talk about, Triple H probably didn't have his way this year, unfortunately, because somebody, the great one, kind of screwed some things up this year. Anyways, we digress right now. Let's continue with the card. What do we got?
Magical
Next
number. Match. Here we go. One of the more intriguing matches of the weekend. It was supposed to be Rey Mysterio versus this up-and-coming luchador, El Grande Americano.
It reminds me of Mr. America.
From the Gulf of America,
yes.
mind you.
By far.
He looks like a former Olympic alternate that's currently on the roster.
It's kind of crazy. Huh. What's his
He's
name?
got a mask. I'm not sure. I don't think this is him.
You know who reminds me of? Chad Gable.
He does look a little like him.
And he's all
same
jacked
build.
up. Yeah, he's got the same build.
So, Ray gets hurt Friday night on SmackDown.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. Insert new shiny toy, Ray Phoenix.
Phenomenal.
One of the best wrestlers walking the planet right now.
Yeah.
Definitely in the top 10.
And
so, they put on a great match.
Yep.
We see some really cool moves. It's entertaining. In the end, Grande goes over. My belief, honestly, if Mysterio's in the match, we probably find out who the fuck Grande Americano was. Now, you got thrown a curveball. We have to redirect traffic. We're not going to have the guy that's been here 2 weeks unmask the guy who's been getting heat as this.
Phenomenal. And the promos are phenomenal.
Everything about
it is great. It reminds me again,
great.
and I know I'm a little biased, it reminds me of Mr. America back in 2003.
Looked a lot like that guy.
Like that guy. But
very similar. Not the same guy, though.
Not the same guy. He was from,
Tremendous.
That was a great match.
It was a really good
liked
match.
it. Listen, and we're both old school. The little tucking of the metal piece into his head for the headbutt, phenomenal. Great.
The reverse 450. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that move. That was pretty damn impressive to just throw it backwards.
El Grande Americano, super athletic.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I love it. Cheers to that.
Here we go. Now we can get into the nuts and bolts of the night one.
Oh, boy.
A lot of build-up here, folks.
So, Charlotte,
Tiffy time.
Phenomenal, real heat. However, I'm going to be one to say that Matt and I kept looking at each other. Sometimes when you have that heat, I think sometimes you
doesn't work in the ring.
It doesn't not gel in the ring. I'm going to say this, and maybe I won't. Everybody out there watching won't agree. That was the worst match of night one.
That was the worst match of the weekend.
Okay.
That was the worst match of both nights.
They literally were not in sync. You could tell they were mad at each other because it seemed at some points they were both trying to actually hurt each other.
Clearly a little stiffer than your average match.
Stiff. I mean, Tiff looked like she lost a tooth.
No.
But was it the blood?
Post-match or post-show press conference, it was just blood on the tooth. Made it look chipped. But bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah.
Definitely had a little bruise on the forehead.
So she took some shots. I think it's okay that, listen, the person who was supposed to win went over. So
absolutely, I said that in the pre-show.
So Tiff won.
I didn't want Charlotte winning.
So Charlotte has put 2 people over in the last 3 years. She put Rhea over in 39.
Yep.
And she put Tiffy over last
40.
night. Great. So Charlotte as a professional wrestler is phenomenal. I think just the fans want something different. That's all. And they did not gel. Maybe in the next matches, because there's going to be rematches, maybe they will have some
figure it out.
But it was tough to watch because we're like, wow, there was no flow to the match, if that makes sense.
Very choppy, very clunky, just not entertaining.
And the crowd was absolutely
remember Sheamus's old gimmick. Are you entertained? Nope.
No.
Sure as hell wasn't.
No. So the right person went over. It's glad that a Flair put someone over. Because guess what? Her father put enough people over back in the 80s and 90s. So, Charlotte, good job.
Her dad put someone over on night 2 without even being there.
Oh, boy.
I don't want to get into that.
We haven't got there. I know. We're going to talk about that.
All right. Moving forward, night 1, we got one match left. And this was by far the match of the show.
It was honestly the match of the overall show. And
both nights.
Both nights. And that obviously...
start to finish. I'm talking entrances. Everyone wanted to gripe. Oh, it's not a title match. How's it closing the show? Mm-hmm. Newsflash, kids. 3 guys in the ring. All Hall of Famers.
Yep.
Guy on the outside of the ring. Hall of Famer.
Already. Right.
What else do you need for it to be a main event?
It was a storyline that's been put together for years. And honestly, ever since CM Punk left in 2014, it's been a storyline 11 years in the making. Especially the anger that Seth had. Roman kind of got tossed in there, but in a good way. Like, Roman was in the right spot. Yeah, Paul Heyman, it was a
made
great...
so much more intrigue in the show.
It was.
And in that match itself.
And the about 25 false finishes that we had, or the finishes that went into another finish. It was great. They are professionals in the ring. They know each other. It flowed so well. And then the double cross, not a single cross, the double cross.
Honestly, I might have done it a little differently. Once Paul hit Punk in the nuts.
Roman's teeth, by the way, the whitest teeth I have ever seen. I brush my teeth twice a day.
I need to know you're a dentist, Holmes.
What the?
Impressive. But I get the crotch shot on Punk. And then I love Paul. You made me do this. Gives the chair to Roman. Roman wears Punk out. I'm loving all of it.
Everything's good. And now
I can smell the second nut shot. The second Roman slides Paul behind him before he's about to wear Seth out.
And I've watched it like 3 times. The crowd reacts as soon as Roman pushes him. I'm like,
they knew the same thing we did.
Knew it was going to come.
And, I wanted it to happen. Honestly, the way I kind of saw it happening or hoped it would, when the two of them are on both sides and Paul's in the middle holding the chair, slide that son of a bitch right through, give it to Seth, and let him wear both of them out.
Yes.
That would have been.
That would
have made me happier.
We all said, "What is he going to do? What is he going to do?"
In the end, I got the result I wanted. I really dug it. So did he.
Yeah, it was good.
Paul, second nut shot. Roman goes down.
He got Roman better than he got Punk.
Well,
he really got.
He did like the sword wiggle after though. Like
only Paul Heyman could do that.
Are you giving him an old fashioned, or are you punching him in the junk? Right? Yeah, a little bit. I guess. Little tickler. Because he loves Roman so much. That's what it was.
Tribal chief.
Acknowledging his tribal chief.
So. Seth, once again, here's the one thing about Seth Rollins. Sometimes he acts like a big baby, but he is a phenomenal athlete. He's a wrestler. He's a wrestling fan. And I think, obviously, the right person went over. You have no complaints with Seth going over.
That's how night one should have been.
It should have been. Because Punk, we all kind of thought we wanted Punk to win, but we knew the Heyman factor, this was going to happen. And we're okay, because it's going to set up for a great year.
So much more good stuff.
Night 1 ended. Everybody, I think, went home happy. At least with that match. Night 2, you start off with a fucking banger. I don't mind saying it because
if not the best match of the weekend, it's number 2.
Yeah.
It was either the closer of night 1 or the opener of night 2. Triple threats.
I will say Matt said his favorite was the main event of night 1 while we're sitting there. My favorite was the women. Get that out of the way. I'm gonna get that little clap. That's what I did. That was one of the.
There's a second one.
What? Pep me up. What?
There's a second one.
Wrestlemania. And I literally, that match, I was like, this is how the night's going to start, because if you think about last year, WrestleMania 40, night 2, you start with Rollins and you start with McIntyre, and then the cash in by Priest. That was the beginning of night 2. So I'm like, here we go. It's going to be a much better night than how we started on match 1.
Agreed.
And I agree, Io Sky, we both wanted Rhea to go over, but
I want Rhea for some reasons. Honestly, I'm happy Io won.
Yeah.
I think
she's phenomenal. She's a phenomenal wrestler and phenomenal athlete. And you look at the influx of the Japanese wrestlers coming over. We've watched New Japan for years, and she's one of those coming over now. She's in the females division, whatever. She's a phenomenal overall athlete. And Bianca got a lot of years ago, and Rhea got a lot of years ago. So we don't even talk about Raw about this. Yeah, we don't talk about that. But the right person went over the women's match. So, match 2.
And like you said, it was either 1 or 1A for the weekend. Yeah. Phenomenal. All 3 of them.
But I will say, match 2 on night 2.
Very good match. Sin City Street Fight.
I'm a big Drew McIntyre fan. I think the entrance by Damian Priest, which I like that they're saying punishment, because you wrestling fans don't realize that on the independent scenes, punishment Martinez. And he was probably about 40 pounds heavier, but he was a monster. And they kept saying punishment, so they're giving a little homage to him on that. They both brought it. Drew
I will say cool entrance. I say it's a less than adequate copy of Big Cope. When Tony Khan actually paid for his Slayer music to be played, as opposed to just Kerry King.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Mr. King. Real great guitarist. I'm a huge metal fan. Like, Slayer is one of my favorite bands. It was still awesome. Yeah. I'm not against it. The Cope one was just cooler.
Yeah.
Personal opinion.
All.
But
nothing wrong with that.
I digress. Getting to the match itself, great match. Two of them beat the hell out of each other.
Drew McIntyre's, and he's one of the unsung heroes of the COVID era, He was a champ for almost a year.
Since the virus hit, this dude has been one of the workhorses.
Drew's been one of the workhorses, and he's a phenomenal. And again, over the last year, what he did with Punk and the Hell in the Cell, absolutely phenomenal. So great banger there, and which brings us to probably my third favorite match of the weekend because it kept me engaged the entire time.
Hard to top the four-way for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yep. And I will say before Matt starts, there was two people I wanted to win. It was honestly either Finn or Dominic. And
one of your two won.
Because here's the thing is, Braun Breaker, we know he's on to the next big thing. We know, like, listen.
That belt is behind him.
2-time Intercontinental Champion. Now you're moving on to the big stuff.
Which we'll get into
which we will.
Shortly.
But with Braun Breaker, he is a machine, and he flowed so well with everybody in that ring. Penta, he's right. He's right there. The thing is that Penta too soon because you have Dominic, who has been the greatest heel for the last.
He's the best heel in professional wrestling over the past 18 months.
And he got cheered because the crowd knew it was his time. Yep. That's one thing. Like the Vegas crowd woke up the first two matches. I'm sorry, the first three matches, but they knew Dominic when he was genuinely happy and went back to the ring. You knew it. He's over now. The best heel in the last 2.5 years, besides Hogan coming out with Real American Beer. But
well, I don't think it was the beer that made him the heel, but
no, something happened.
We digress. Great match, great ending, new Intercontinental champ. Pinned the right guy too. Yes. I mean, like he said, Penta's the shiny new toy. We're not going to beat him. Braun's not going to get beat to lose his belt. If you're putting him in a four-way, that's the point of the match, so that he doesn't take the L.
Yep.
Sorry, Finn.
You got it. Which creates more heat for the
a little more drama for the Judgment Day,
which we like.
Next match.
I'll go with that.
This was an interesting one. Randy Orton.
Listen, I will say this. I know we've talked about it. I honestly didn't know who Randy. I thought it was Cross.
No one did.
But then when he came out, when it opened up, I'm like, who the hell? And the music hit. I'm like, such good shit. And we will stay on subject, but Cross is going off about not being included. Have you seen the promo? Did I not send that to you?
No.
Killer Cross going off.
I did see that one.
I didn't realize this, and it's one of those things where sometimes, listen, life happens. 20 years ago, 10 years ago, I probably would have realized what was happening with Cross. He wanted to be in that match. He wanted to be in Las Vegas, his hometown. They didn't book him. And they were thinking about quote-unquote viral moments. Listen, I saw Joe Hendry the first time last April at TNA taping in Albany, New York, with probably 2,500 people in the crowd in a gym. I'm like, who is this guy? He's got something. Fast forward a year later.
Royal Rumble first.
That
Royal Rumble crowd. WWE crowd.
NXT first, then Royal Rumble.
Well, the Royal Rumble one's the one where you knew he was over because they're an indie with
he's coming out
60,000 people in a football stadium and say his name.
And he's phenomenal. And the thing is you're mentioning a TNA world champion on WrestleMania. Listen, we knew Randy was going to win.
We squashed him in 3.5.
We knew Randy was going to win, and he won the exact same way when all of a sudden I didn't see Randy on when he did the turn, like he's going to get RKO'd, and it happened. So they were saying how you can't squash like Triple H 25 years ago squashed Taz as the ECW champion. Mm-hmm. You're on WWE TV. It's going to happen. You think Joe Hendry really was upset with that? No,
because Joe Hendry's going to wake up Friday morning and he's going to have a direct deposit in his bank account that's going to be like, good move, dumbass.
Yeah. I'll take the bump. The TNA
I'll take the L.
I'll take the L because that's how he's going to think because he's going to.
It's my 6-digit L.
Jordan Grace. Okay. She's on NXT now. She's going to work her way up. Just like Vince did back in 2001 when ECW was going to close. Who did they grab from ECW? You got the Dudley Boys. You got Rob Van Dam. You got Taz. You had some great ECW guys that Vince was, here you go, we'll keep you out of bankruptcy. Now, I'm going to pull my money back. You're going to close down.
I'm going to take the time.
I'm going to absorb. So, Triple H isn't doing that right now. He's basically going to NXT, TNA Farm League going at it. But Joe Hendry showing up on WrestleMania, huge. And I don't care that it was a viral moment. It was cool as hell. The crowd went over. That pop was big. Randy Orton, in his age and 20-plus years in wrestling, he seems to be more now. He's not the cocky Randy Orton. He's like, all right, this is cool. I'm going to help someone get over. Him doing the whole thing at the end was hilarious.
Gold. Absolute gold.
He's good. He's good. So that was obviously, I knew it was going to be a quick one, but it was a good match. And Joe Hendry's wrestled in front of 60,000 people at WrestleMania. And he was at the Royal Rumble with 60,000 people. So it's good. Yeah.
Twice in 3 months. Good for you.
Yeah. The next match, I was highly disappointed. Logan Paul and AJ, because I don't know whose fault it was in this match. Because Logan Paul has performed great and usually like with a style of AJ.
Should have been a barn burner. Should have been match of the weekend.
It wasn't. It was disappointing.
Not at all.
It reminds me of AJ and Shinsuke at 34, where I thought it was going to be the match of like the year. Disappointed.
Almost like it was written not to be.
Not to be.
Maybe they build for something else in the future. I'm not sure.
And the thing is with Logan, I know he's a YouTuber. I don't care that he hasn't been a wrestling fan like say Matt and I for his whole life, but he's a fucking athlete and he can wrestle.
He can do it.
He can do it. That finisher is phenomenal. But the whole cross thing, and he hits him with the brass knuck. I just was confused. A couple of things confused in this, but we're getting to the confusing part coming up. The tag match.
Ladies tag belt match. Supposed to be Lyra, Valkyria, and Bailey against Liv and Raquel. And Bailey gets hurt Friday night.
Right.
Lyra needs a partner. So
time for a quick pop.
2 belts Becky.
Here she comes.
After 15 months
off.
Come in. They win the belts.
Yep. And that was pretty much, it wasn't a squash match, but
it might as well have been.
Pretty damn close. That's it.
It wasn't good.
No. You had the rock, what do they call that move? It's not the rock bottom, it's the...
what
does she call that one?
I don't remember.
It's a rock bottom.
Yeah. It's Dwayne's move. You're welcome.
And then we come to...
the main event of the weekend.
By far, I will say this, and it's sad for us wrestling fans.
Main event of WrestleMania.
Because there's a whole bunch of things involved here. John Cena, 17 world title maybe. Cody Rhodes just continue to be Cody. The build-up to this match was confusing. You had The Rock show up.
At elimination.
Which was one of the best.
John turn.
Which made John turn, which was unbelievable, which we've talked about.
Cool moment.
Then the match happens. The one thing I'll say is, I love the fact that John Cena was using double axe handles. He was using moves we were like, oh, all right, you have piqued my interest. The crowd was so low. Cena hits him with 4, I'm going to still 4 FUs, not the attitude adjustment. He hit him with 4 FUs. And then Travis Scott comes out. And then I'm like, where's The Rock?
It takes Travis approximately 6.5 minutes to get to the goddamn ring. And he kind of comes in and gets crossovered by Cody.
And it was a horrible try to slap Cody.
It was a duck fart. That part of the match.
That whole thing was, and then we're still waiting, all of us collectively. Where's The Rock? And we're gonna get to another part which we went over real quick, and I apologize. You know what I'm talking about. So we're all sitting there like, what's happening? Then the full fight with the belt, and Cody can't hit him. He gets kicked in the nuts again. He gets hit once with the belt. Then the ref finally wakes up, and it's 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3 over.
And literally, as you said on night 1, when Gunther tapped out, what the fuck was that?
Happened? 2 big matches, both for world titles. 2 worst finishes of the weekend.
Yeah.
Unequivocally. It's not close.
I'm fine with John Cena being the way he is. I'm totally fine with it.
I'm fine with him winning. I expected it to happen.
But the match wasn't good. And here we are, wrestling fans, marks, whatever you want to call us. We got almost ultra spoiled in 40 because everything happened the way it was supposed to. I feel like...
And it was all awesome.
Every
match was cool.
It was one year. You had us up to here. I remember I fell asleep because I'm an old man. And I'm at home. And I fall asleep. I woke up. And Cody's celebrating, but I missed the whole match. I watched the match. And then I watched the last 5 minutes of that match over and over. And I went to sleep. And I couldn't fall asleep because I was so excited. This year, I went right to sleep. I'm like, what? Thank God. I'll say this, and listen, if you have a chance to go to WrestleMania, go. You know, I know, go. But thank God I didn't spend $2,000 going to Las Vegas. because I would have been disappointed.
Dodged a bullet with that one.
It is. There's a couple WrestleManias. 32 to me was a disappointing one. I wish I didn't go to. I wish I would have went to 31 in San Francisco. 32 in Dallas. Everybody was injured. Me, Brian, and Brad. If we were at a Dallas Cowboy game, we would have had phenomenal seats. It was right behind the goalpost. It was $500 a seat, and I'm looking at it's like this big, the ring. I'm like, oh, how far away are we? And it wasn't a good card. So I would have been like
29 was still the best seats.
29, and we were directly right there. And it was our first one.
We sat on top of the hard game.
Yeah, and we just watched it. And it was great. But the disappointment, because obviously we're going to stay on point, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson today going on Pat McAfee and saying that literally the Elimination Chamber, which we all loved, the heel turn, it was just a bump.
Thrown together
and bump ticket sales. So what you're telling me as a wrestling fan, you kind of screwed up the whole storyline because we're confused, waiting for you to show up as wrestling fans to do something, as you did last year.
Right.
While your Instagram, you're saying in Hawaii, but we're all like,
yeah,
he'll be here. Not one. And I think that's what left a lot of us hanging like, this is it. We're wrestling fans. We love it. We were into the whole weekend. And I'm saying
we were expecting more.
We were expecting a lot more. And you could have done so much more. And I think here we go. Like me and Triple H are going to call each other and talk about it. I think you screwed up Triple H's plan for a great match. Because
rounding back though, the one thing we forgot to talk about, El Segundo, our man.
My God.
We got an appearance.
My God.
From the Rattlesnake. Ripping a four-wheeler.
So I will say, I forgot what match it was after, but I went to pee. I hear his music hit. So I rush back into the room. And I'm like, where is he? Where'd he go? He hadn't even made it up to the ramp yet. Then you see the replay. He went, this dude's fucking cocked.
He's doing 45 miles an hour around the ring.
He went in. He didn't hit the ramp first. He got stuck. And then some poor fan that paid $20,000 for that front row seat, he goes into the fucking barrier.
Blasts into this one.
Blasts into it. And the face she made really made me angry because I'm like, this chick's going to try to sue. The father, it was a young girl, and the father's like, laughs. And he goes, you see his face, he goes, oh no. His face changed because he's like, oh, she's acting like she's hurt. And the typical, listen, we're not going to get into that mode right now, but I don't even know what to want to call this fan. If it was one of us, I'm going to say this. If it was Matt or I, and Stone Cold ran into me.
Best night ever.
Time out. I'm a little hurt.
Best night of my life.
He probably would have said, hey, come have a drink with me tonight. I'm going to get you front row seats tomorrow Monday Night Raw. Guess what? Done.
Yeah. Hands are washed. I'm going to go drink beers with Stone Cold.
And he still had a good time because Stone Cold didn't miss a beat, by the way. He ran into the goddamn barricade.
Immediately hopped off the bike at least.
And
like,
said,
all right,
okay?
probably shouldn't ride this anymore.
The security people pulled it out. Tony Khan, the owner of WWE.
Nick Khan. Yeet.
Shoot. Nick Khan, Tony Khan. Hey.
Couple of Steve Weisers.
Nick Khan goes over. You know there's a problem because you see him like, oh boy, this is going to be a problem. Then Stone Cold drinks 4 or 5 of these, goes back out, says something to the chick again, and then walks.
Solves it.
So I'm like, oh, he didn't start up the bike. Yeah, so we knew. I'm like, oh boy. But Stone Cold, for once, you were drunk, and it was actually pretty funny.
It happens.
Watching the replay of you miss the ramp. And then
on that note, we are going to wrap up our WrestleMania 41 recap. Top Rope Talk, Quiet Corner TV.
Where wrestling fans come to be wrestling fans.
Cheers.
See you next time.